What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy BrianDaddy with another video. Today, we're going to take a look at the Cleric class. It's a pretty interesting class. It's the healer, and they've got some really strong and good abilities in this game, and we're going to just take a look at each one and give you guys a little sneak peek into the game. So in Ashes of Creation, a Cleric's powers are not directly imbued by the gods, but instead they get their powers tied intrinsically through the use of the manipulation of the essence as a source of magic. Now, the essence kind of goes into a lot of detail, and we'll talk about that in a separate video when I go over kind of the lore and religions and things. Cleric classes are the only class that can fill the role of the primary healer. So, classes that have Cleric as a secondary archetype will have like self-healing abilities, but they won't have as many direct heals as the Cleric does. In general, templated AoE heals will heal any non-combatant players, and players cannot heal enemy mobs. Certain healing abilities such as communal restoration can overheal, and this is indicated by a blue temporary shield on the health bar. If temporary health points expire without being consumed, they do not count as effective heals. And fighters may also have debuffs that could be a sort of mortal strike where they reduce the healing on the target. Alrighty, let's go over the skills and abilities of the Clerics. Clerics have control over life, as this may relate to utility abilities. They can relate to corruption. There will be a healthy combination of healing and offensive spells available to allow the Cleric to level and progress as a solo player. It's left to the player to decide whether they will spec into more solo or support-oriented group-focused gameplay. The choice of a secondary archetype will enable further customization as well. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and take a look at each ability. Barrier. Barrier allows you to sacrifice 25% of your maximum health to place a shield on a target ally for 10 seconds. It does not stack, so you may only do it once. Bless Weapon. Imbues your target's weapon with radiant light, causing each of their weapon combo attacks to deal additional radiant damage, and applies a mana regeneration buff to the caster. Each hit extends the duration of that buff and up to a maximum of 15 seconds. This has a 10% chance to proc, bonus radiant damage, and apply a stack of burning to the target. So, a lot of things going on with this imbue of the weapon, but it sounds really strong. Castigation. Lashes your target with Holy Energy Whip, dealing direct damage and restoring health and mana to yourself over time. Chains of Restraint. Call forth spectral chains in a target area that stagger enemies within or stun enemies that are already under the staggered effect, then leave behind an area that deals radiant damage each second for 8 seconds. Communal Restoration. Restore health to all party members in range instantly, plus additional healing over time. Allies under the hot effects also receive 10% maximum health for the duration. So this is a very big kind of AoE, just bam, heal everybody in your party that's within range. It's really good. Condemn. Stun the target enemy for 3 seconds. So healers do have a stun, seems pretty strong. 3 seconds also seems like a pretty fair amount of time. Consecrating Wave. Send forth a cone of radiance that deals radiant damage to all enemies while healing the 10 nearest allies. So this looks like a nice big AoE ability that you're going to be able to just slap on the battlefield and hit not only enemies but friendlies as well. Very strong. Defiant Light. Heal a target ally for 50% of their maximum health over 10 seconds. If that target would receive fatal damage while under this effect is consumed and prevents their death, healing them for 25% of their health instead. It's a little cheat death effect. If you think your enemy or your tank is about to die, you hit them with Defiant Light, and boom, stops them from dying. Kind of a little catch-up ability that seems really strong, really nice. There's some great healing abilities from what I'm seeing. Deliverance. It's a held ability. It charges up healing energy that heals a target ally upon release, scaling in power the longer you charge it, and also depending on the missing health of that target. That's a pretty cool ability as well, having the ability to choose when you want to release it, and it also is stronger based on how much health your friendly target has. Devotion. Launch an orb of energy into the air that will fall upon your target, healing them. Divine Censure. It hurls a radiant spear at the target, dealing damage. Divine Flare. place a targeted area heal on the ground that heals all targets within the area after several seconds. Total healing is split between everyone in that AoE. Divine Infusion. Consume divine power to instantly complete the remaining cast time of any healing spell being cast. So again, this is going to be your presence of mind, your ability to instantly cast an ability, and also the divine power consumed is proportional to the amount of cast time remaining upon activating it. So how much power you use will be based on, what you were casting at that time. Divine Form. If your focus is at 80%, use this skill to increase heals and damage of your skills by 25% for 8 seconds. It applies an AoE heal over time to friends and damage over time to enemies. It pulses AoE heal and damage around you, so it's a really cool little divine form. It gives you an AoE healing and damage ability. Seems very strong, very cool. Like I said, I'm loving all these abilities. Flash Cure. You instantly heal the target, and this may be done during other abilities activations. Healing Touch. Heal a target ally in melee range for a large amount of health. So that's kind of benefiting you to being close and near to your tank. You might want to use that ability if certain fights or certain situations call for it. Judgment. Cast a heal on target ally for a large amount of health. If this cast is on an enemy, it instead deals radiant damage to a target and applies 2 stacks of burning. Mend. Instantly launch a healing projectile towards a target ally. Each charge of this ability consumed after the first has no mana cost, and restores an increasing amount of mana to the caster based on the number of missing charges. Consecutive uses of this ability will gain bonus healing. Radiant Burst. Heals allies around you in a wide area for a large amount, stacks up to 3 times. So this is a little AoE heal around yourself, pretty nice. Regeneration. Bathe your target in restorative energy that puts a hot on them. Pretty basic little hot ability. Resplendent Beam. It's another held ability where, depending on how long you hold it, will do more. And charging this spell does allow the beam to bounce up to 5 additional targets closest to the original target, based on how long it was charged. So essentially, depending on how long you charge this will determine how many people it hits and how much it heals. So the longer you hold it, bam, you'll be able to get a bigger heal out to more people. Again, another really cool ability. I love the design. I love it all. It's good. Healers are going to be strong. Resurrection. This is another basic res ability. You res an ally with 25% health and 15% mana. Smite. Smite your target, dealing instant damage. This is kind of another basic priest/healer ability. You also apply a burning stack to the enemy. It has no cast time and deals increased damage if activated within melee range of the target. Again, you probably don't want to be in melee range, but it is instant if you are in melee. And this attack always critical hits if that target is under the effects of the stun condemn. Soothing Glow. Apply a healing over time effect to a target ally. Reapplying this effect extends its duration on the target and its base value. So this is another kind of hot effect, and if you keep stacking it, it gets bigger and better. Wings of Salvation. Sprout phoenix-like wings and leap to a target ally, then grant a small amount of temporary health to that target when you arrive. An ally is defined as a non-combatant player. So essentially, you get to dive to somebody and heal them. That's really cool, kind of like you're saving them. It's sick. Like I said, a lot of these abilities are cool. Let's just talk about some of the passive abilities. I'll go over these pretty quickly. Passives are usually, pretty boring in games, but they need to be in the game. So you have cooldown reduction, reduces all your ability cooldowns by 5%. You got crit hit rate, increases the crit hit chance by 5%. Defense mitigation, you get increased by 4. Disable defense reduces your chance of being disabled by crowd control up to 10%, so that's good. Health regen, generate an additional 1.5% of your max health per second. It's very good. Increased healing, you get 10% increased healing done. Mana regen, you generate an additional 1% of your max mana every second. Maximum health, you get an additional 75 health. Max mana, you get increased mana by 100, and movement speed, you get 5%. Also, when it comes to augments, clerics with the secondary archetype are able to choose between life or death augments. Choosing life augments will provide self-healing benefits as well as a limited life-giving benefits to other players, and some cleric augments applied to certain skills will individually provide the ability to heal others. These will not replace the need for having a cleric, though. Cleric augments will radically change the type of summons available for the summoner archetype. that's an overview of all the skills and abilities of the Cleric. It looks really interesting. It will be available during Alpha 2 when it launches, and I'm looking forward to trying this class out as well. I want to try every class: tank, Cleric, Ranger, Mage, Bard, Rogue, Summoner, Fighter. It all looks cool. Looking forward to it. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!